The step sequencer window is where you manage anything that generates sound in FL Studio. You're going to be using this a lot, so definitely make sure you understand all the concepts in this tutorial. Things that generate sound include plugins, also known as generators in FL, audio clips, individual drum samples, and everything in between. This is where you're going to be creating patterns. Lastly, you can use the step sequencer as an actual drum step sequencer for quickly creating drum parts. Each named item on this list is called a channel. By default, FL loads with a few channels containing drum samples. These are loaded into the FL Sampler tool, which is a simple little plugin that can load one audio file at a time. It's best for drums. The colored boxes here are known as steps, hence the name, step sequencing. Each step is a 16th note and there are 16 steps, so the total length of this pattern is one measure in 4/4 time. You can change the number of beats in the pattern by dragging up and down in this box. To write notes, left-click on any step. So to create a simple dance beat, I'll just place one kick on each downbeat and a clap on the second and fourth beats. Instant hit. Right-click to delete notes and then drag to paint multiple notes at once. As you can see, each channel has its own volume and panning controls. Left-click on the green circle to mute or unmute a channel. Or right-click and select Solo to solo it. For finer control over each step, click the Graph Editor button. Here you can click and drag to change the MIDI velocity of each individual step, which affects volume. This is particularly helpful if you want some hits to be louder or softer than others. This only edits one channel at a time, but you can use the arrow keys or click to select a different channel. I should mention that while these default drums might sound good, as you can imagine, they've been pretty overused, so I would resist the temptation to use them too much in your own music. There are a few other useful controls in the step sequencer. The swing slider automatically pushes some of your notes into a swung groove, which is great for any kind of jazz or funk music. To see the current strength of the swing, look at the hint bar in the upper left. On a side note, the hint bar frequently displays helpful information when you're working, so keep an eye on it if you want to see the values of knobs, shortcuts, that kind of thing. The keyboard editor button provides a way to change the pitch of each individual step. By default, they're all in the same pitch. But as with the graph editor, just click or drag to change the pitch of any given step or to write new notes. Also, like the graph editor, you can right-click to delete notes. As your projects grow, you'll want to keep your channels organized. Some of my projects end up with hundreds of channels, and if it gets out of hand, it can become a real pain in terms of creativity and workflow. So right-clicking on a channel lets you delete, clone, rename, or color it. You can even add an icon, which is handy once you have tons of channels and you want to identify what kind of instrument each channel has.